Hey y'all, here's another episode of Bonafide Her podcast featuring the one and only Tristan Shivers. Beep, 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 beep. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
That's good. So let's get this started. So Miss Tristan, can you tell us like your sports journey, how you got to where you are?
Oof, it's a long one. I started playing basketball when I was like 5, 6 years old. I played with halo hoops, playing like rec ball, and then I started like putting on my other sports. Like I used to do gymnastics and dance and all those little sports you do when you're like a kid. And I really just like started getting deeper into like training for basketball because like I realized that's like really what I wanted to do and somewhere I wanted to go with that. And so then I started playing in middle school. And of course, everybody knows, I think everybody knows, I tore my ACL in seventh grade. So my basketball journey was cut a little short right there, but I was able to recover and get back and play my AAU eighth grade year. And now I'm playing with Hogger High School. So, yeah.
So my question for you is like, with high school for Hager, you already went to two Final Fours already, back to back. So like, what was that like for you?
Honestly, it's really a blessing. Like, it takes a lot. Like, you don't see a lot of teams do that. Like, it's very rare. It takes years for coaches to dream of getting there and stepping foot on a court like that to even be able to coach in that setting. And for me to be able to play in that setting and like just experience that with the various people, like it's just amazing. And I don't think it happens for most people. So I just am really grateful that I have a really good supporting cast and coaching and teammates and all that.
Yeah, because y'all almost won too. Like this year, y'all almost won from what I read. Dang, y'all almost like y'all was so close. Just
Close.
uh
Right there. We're right there.
so my question for you is, also big congrats on winning Player of the Year, Miss Tristan. So,
Thank you.
but what was that like? With you having 500 assists, 1,000 points this year, and Player of the Year on top of that. Like, what was that like to receive all these accolades?
Um, Honestly, it's just kind of a relief. Like, I feel like I've been working really hard, like on the off season, like during the summer, and like just my coaches have helped me understand the game a little bit better since I've been at Hoggard. So like me being able to incorporate what I've been doing before that into their system of play for how we're as good as we are is really what helps me um, realize that there's more to the game, and it makes me show that there's more to the game, not just, oh, I got to score this many points, I got to do this, I got to do that. But um, my team is definitely the biggest part in that. Like, I couldn't do half the things I do. Like, they got to give me the ball to score. I got to give them the ball to get my assists. So it's really a team thing, and I'm really grateful that my team trusts me enough to give me the ball, and I trust them enough that I know they can make the shots. And
For
yeah.
sure. And it's crazy. It's so crazy. Like, you have grown so much. I'm like, literally, like, I remember you were a kid, like in middle school at one of the UNCW camps. And I was like, and it was like now and then, at Halo Hoops, like, with helping, assisting with your mom at the Halo Hoop teams, like, I'm just like, yo, this is, and just you taking over. And then next thing I know, I'm like, this is the same little girl I remember growing up. And just now she's like the captain and everything. I'm like, this girl is big. So, my question for you is, I've seen, like, would you say your mom has like really been the rock and kind of like helped you along with your sports journey? Just, because, like just been like the role model for you?
Oh, of course. My mom is my biggest supporter, and sometimes she is my biggest hater. But it's really really for the better. Like she just wants me to be the best, and she knows I can be the best, and in her eyes I always am and always will be. And I think that she really just pushes me, and that's what I need from her. But she doesn't just do that with me, she does it with everybody. She does it with herself. She's a great person. um and she does it with my brother too, like because he's playing basketball too, so it's the same thing. I know he doesn't like to listen, but she knows what she's talking about.
Shout out to Miss Jamie. So, but and then like just it's just crazy because I was like, man, like just because I would see y'all at the gym a lot, and like y'all made sure to like, especially for you, like you made sure to get there early, and the competitiveness in you is just truly amazing. So my question for you is, how when it comes to representation in sports, what I mean by that, like, say somebody looks up to you or you look up to somebody, and how important is it for you?
um I think just like being a role model gives off so much good energy to other people. Like as a team, we know the standards at Hogwarts, so we are very strict about following those standards. Even if you're a freshman, even if you're a senior, it doesn't matter. Like you could be on JV. JV has the same expectations as the varsity team does, and we try and hold each other to a standard because we all know that we're one big family, we're one big team, and we are expected to do a lot, and we want to win, and that's why we win, is because we hold ourselves to such high standards and expectations that we have to follow. We get to the gym 15 minutes before practice, and captains normally get there 30 minutes before practice. It doesn't matter if it's at 6 a.m. or if it's at 8 p.m. It doesn't. We have that standard, and we follow things like that, like communication outside of the locker room. Like that's one of my biggest things is like just being able to speak up for yourself and be heard by your teammates. Like there's no reason that you should feel like secluded and unable to say anything. Like never be scared to speak up. Like say what you have to say. We're all open. There's we're all open to new ideas. We love to hear what you have to say. So just like being that role model and not allowing people to feel like less of in our team atmosphere. Like that's our biggest thing is team family.
Absolutely. And you know with when women's basketball continue to grow, like, what's it like to see that continue to grow with, especially with college and the professional level?
It's really crazy, just like the difference of like when I watched it as a kid to now. Like the girls are getting better. Everyone's good. Like everybody knows how the game works, and you're just all competing for a spot. And the amount of media coverage now for women's sports is the biggest thing I've noticed. Like especially with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and all those girls, like they brought a lot to the game, and I'm just grateful that I'm able to play behind that. Like y'all are helping me too.
So who would you say, if you had like a top five favorite athletes, whether it's men or female, who would you say is your top five favorite like athletes?
um, oof. um, I'd probably say my top female athlete. I think it's hard. There's just there's like so many different. Um, I'd probably say Sue Bird just because like the when I was a little kid, that's who I wanted to be, like aspired to be like her. She played like me. I wanted to play like her, and I just think like she also impacted the game in a big way, like as when I was younger, and that's just like who I looked up to throughout my childhood. On the men's side, I know everybody wants me to say LeBron, but it's not LeBron. Um, I'd probably say it'd have to be Michael Jordan or Kobe, just based on their mentality, like the way that they go about playing the game, like as their own individual person. Like they don't focus on anybody else. Like they're just worried about themselves and making their team better, and that's what kind of mindset I go about too. So
For sure. I haven't heard somebody say Sue Bird in a long time, ma'am. So, you know, I mean, Sue Bird is definitely a legend. She's most likely going to be in the Hall of Fame. So, what was it about Sue Bird, that you just that stood out from her about, what is it about Sue Bird that stood out to you?
I'd probably say her leadership. Like, she was a really good leader. When I watched the game, she was always talking. She was always directing. And as a point guard, like, that's my job. So that's just kind of the kind of impact she had on me. Was like, I was like, oh, I want to be like her. Like, you see her pointing at everybody, be like, yeah, you go here, you go here. Be like, oh, I'm about to do that.
With as for you as a student athlete currently, do you feel like, being able for you balancing academics and athletics, do you feel like it is, say you were to play basketball at a higher level, college level, which I know you will, if if you see yourself playing it, do you feel like balancing both academics and athletics has prepared for you for that, as well as along with life itself?
Um, I definitely think it's possible. I think it'll take a lot of effort and like scheduling and just like discipline. Honestly, that's the hardest thing. Like, you're tired as an athlete all the time. All you want to do is sleep. All you do is practice and play, and you just want to be like, oh, I don't want to do this work. Like, I'm going to bed. But I mean, that's how I feel these days, and I'm only in high school, so I mean, it's just hard. That's all I say. But I'd rather it be hard and be worth it and be able to play what I want to play and be grateful for that. So.
For sure. And, also with, a lot of people don't understand how hard it is to balance academics and athletics, especially like, you have a whole schedule and everything. But sometimes it can like, take a lot and it can take a toll. So my question for you is, I always say that athletes are human first. How important is mental health to you as an athlete and as a young woman?
I It's really important to me. I think that when you need time, you need time. I think if you have to put off work and procrastinate and ask for another day, you ask for another day. Say, I came home late from a game, that I'll email my teacher, say, hey, I got home late from a game, like I got home at like 9, away game, and they give me an extension. Like, I just think like not putting stress on you is the biggest thing that'll help you academically and as an athlete, honestly, because you're already going through the stress of playing your sport, performing well, and then as a student, like performing well in on your tests and your classes, keeping your grades up, and all of that on top of like you don't want to make yourself feel bad and be like, oh, you can't do this. Like, you're stressed out. You can't do this. Like, just sit back and take a breath. Like, sit in the sun, take a day. Like, you just got to give yourself time. Like, not putting yourself under any pressure or stress is just like the biggest thing for me.
For sure. And what is the goal for you for next season for you for both on and off the court?
Um, Next year, I think my goal is to try and hit 1,500 points because I already hit my 1,000, but I'm I ended I think with like 1,100 and something. So I'm just trying to work on getting that up there, and then getting back to where we were last year and getting further than we did last year. And we always get there, and sometimes it's like really disappointing. Like this year, I was really disappointed, but I mean, the most you can do is just work harder next year, work hard in the off season, get your team together, get your chemistry back, make sure everybody's good and right, and then go right back at it. So off the court, I mean, I'd say more socially active, like during the summer, like because I travel for basketball and stuff, so I don't really get to see my friends a lot. But when I'm not playing basketball, I want to do is lay in bed because I'm so tired. But over the summer, I think I'm just gonna like try and get out there, like be social with my friends some more, just put basketball to the side just a little bit.
For sure. You got to take care of yourself first before anything, So, my question for you is, so, you know, as would you say it's your senior year next year, right?
Yeah.
Oh Lord, I'm not old, y'all. I am not old, but Lord have mercy, you already a senior. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
So,
shush.
so my question for you is, with senior year coming up for you, and then like, you have in the world of sports now these days, especially with college, with the NIL, like, what is your input on the NIL?
Um, I think that is a great thing. I think that it gives athletes the opportunity to show how hard they worked and be rewarded for that hard work. And I mean, also, I just hope that's me. Shoot, I can get some money on the side too.
You will. Like I think, NIL, the biggest thing for NIL too, like a lot of college athletes and athletes in general really definitely need to take advantage of it because you're able to utilize your name, image, and likeness. You are your own brand and you'll be able to utilize it and make money because a lot of people don't understand that athletes, whether they're high school or college, they don't have the time to actually work at a 9 to 5 job. Like what they're doing is a job.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, and it's also a great chance for you to like build your own brand, especially after, say, after college years. You can, with that brand, you can still utilize it beyond. So my question for you is, if you were to say in the NIL for you, what would be some of the brands you would love to collaborate with?
That's hard. Um, of course, the big brands like Nike, like Under Armour, stuff like that. I don't know. I kind of just like I want to be one of those people that like make shoes like based off what my name on the shoes, my design. Like I design it and now everybody wears it. That'd be so fire. That'd be so fire.
Oh, like have people like wear your own shoes and stuff.
Yeah.
So like what Malaysia Full Wiley has, like the
Yes.
butter.
I just saw that on Instagram. That is so that was so cool.
Oh yeah, they call it lay with the butter. It's
Mm,
it's interesting now because you finally like female hoopers finally getting like shoes and stuff. Like, you
yeah.
know, Asia Wilson finally releasing the shoe. She just released the shoe back in she just had it in her merchandise in South Carolina, and now Miss Lay with the butter, she actually signed with Under Armour because she used to play under, the Curry brand with
Yeah.
when she was in high school. So, but you know, what would you say, with travel ball for you? You played AAU a lot. So my question for you is, what would you say is probably some of the either the hardest thing, but also the most valuable lessons that you've learned during your career at AAU?
I think I've learned mostly over the last couple of years is that like like basketball is a team sport, but at the end of the day, like in AAU, you have to get your own. Especially if you want like the looks that you want from colleges. Like sometimes you just gotta go get your own, and that everyone's good. Like you can't just assume, oh well, I think I'm the best. Like everyone's as good as you. Like you have to compete for your spot. Your spot is never guaranteed, and the pace of the game is so much different during AAU than it is during school ball. Like you don't come down and set up a play. Like you go down, you make a move, and you get to the basket, and you get back on defense and do it again. Like it's the pace and just knowing that everyone's good, and you have to like compete with all those people, which is really good. Like rather than playing like not as good girls, but being able to compete on a higher level, a higher circuit, and look just as good as everybody else. Like and even sometimes better.
Absolutely, because you hear a lot of like say misconceptions of AAU travel ball, but what would you say is the number one misconception about AAU travel ball for you?
Um, um, I would say I think for me is like the whole like team thing. Like they look during AAU like you're out there to showcase yourself. Like you're not there to make passes to all your teammates every time you come down the court. Like sometimes you just have to get your own, and it's more like focusing on you and getting your baskets, getting showing them what you can do, making the moves that you know you can do, instead of, oh, here you go, pass them the ball and they go score. Like it's, you can't just do that. Like the pace is so much different. Like sometimes you don't even touch the ball in a possession.
Absolutely. And because, it's just AU, like back in the day, AU, when I was growing up, it was an elite thing back in the day. Like you were the best and stuff. Now it's, I think the AU world has changed for sure with a lot of things. So I don't know how it is, but I just know like over the years, it's definitely changed a lot from. So if you had to describe your journey, how would you describe your journey so far?
Um, I think it's a little rocky. I mean, it's kind of hard adjusting from school ball and AAU, so it's kind of like me in the middle, knowing when to switch gears. Like now that's over, going to play on a higher circuit, like a national circuit, rather than playing team in the mid conference. Like it's different, and I like it's it's stressful at times. Like the recruiting process is hard. It's stressful. Like not knowing what school wants you, knowing what school wants you, knowing what to pick between. Like it's really hard because you're talking to every coach is trying to talk to you, but at the same time you don't know what's real and what's not. So I'd say it's just stressful and hard, but I think it's worth it.
Absolutely. And also, I just remembered is, you know, for your coach, you being coach under Coach Ah, back in the day, played in Georgetown, was teammates with Allen Iverson. So my question is, what is it like to be coach under a Georgetown legend?
he's he's a package. I will say he's something to work with, but he, he's really passionate about what he does, and I think everybody can tell that just based off the pictures that get posted of him screaming at us on the sidelines on the court. So I think he's just very passionate. I think that's what everybody needs to do. Someone who cares about you and cares about the game, and knows what needs to be done for y'all to be a successful team. And I think like really, really confident in coaching, and he pushes us to be better every practice. It doesn't matter if we just came off 3 games that week; he's still going to push us to be better during practice, sprint harder, talk louder, play better defense, box out harder. It doesn't matter. He, he's a really good coach, and I think definitely one of my favorite, even though he's a little crazy.
Would you say, like, what's it like to have a coach that believes in you and, not only your talent, but believes in you as a person, both on and off the court?
It's great. I've never really had a coach like that. That's why I say he's one of my favorites. Like he feels like feels like outside of basketball, like everything outside of basketball. He's a great person. Like I could have taught him about. Never there to judge me, there to listen, and he understands. That's all he wants to do is understand, console me, help me through whatever I'm going through. And basketball wise, having him believe in me, trust me to like be his point guard, the biggest thing that the biggest point guard needs on a team like that. Their coach believe in them to direct the whole team, be the coach for them.
Absolutely. So I always ask my guests this question because bona fide means authentic and unique. So what makes Miss Tristan Shivers bona fide and what makes your story just stands out?
I might say my perseverance. I mean, I feel like I've been through a lot on and off the court, and I think that it's definitely molded me into who I am today, and that's what makes the biggest difference between me and anybody else.
Ooh, straight to the point too with it. Okay. You better let them know, Miss Tristan. Let them know what it is. So, So, can you let the folks know how and where they can support and follow you, and if there's any upcoming events happening for you?
Yeah, I got y'all. My Instagram is baller_Tristan23. Please don't make fun of my name, guys. I get laughed at for my name, but I made it in like 6th grade, and I will not change it. Um, Twitter is Tristan_Shivers14, and y'all can follow me on TikTok too. You know, go ahead and get at me, Tristan.Shivers14. And let's see, any other socials? I'm not gonna give y'all my Snap. I can't do that.
It's like everything else, all the other socials. Yeah.
Go ahead.
My Snapchat, no. This is like my phone number. I'm not giving my Snapchat out like my phone number.
Sorry.
Girl, hey, at least they can follow the Twitter, the TikTok, and the IG.
They can get the Instagram. Go ahead. Follow me.
But the Snapchat, like it's like personal. It's like personal. Like
over here. Separate.
Like it's a no-go. It's not.
Yeah, nope.
Y'all heard it from the lady here first. Y'all heard it from the lovely lady here first, Miss Tristan. Y'all can follow her on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter. We call it Twitter here. We don't call it X. We call it Twitter here. So
yes, Twitter.
Twitter. It's Twitter. We don't know what X is. It's Twitter.
I don't know what that is.
We don't know what X is. So it's Twitter. So all the OGs, all the real OGs who's had Twitter before knows what Twitter is. We don't know about X. So so thank you guys for tuning in to Bonafide Podcast episode 121. You could check out the live replay after this. And big thank you to Miss Tristan Shivers for coming on and sharing your story. You guys are so appreciated. Peace.